I went into radical communication and radical support with my team at some stage. Is there a tipping point where you go too much and you give them too not too much responsibility, but you give them too much communication and too much support to a sense that they're not really taking responsibility and you can't step away from the business as you would? Is there a tipping point there?
So the challenge is too much support often turns out to be micromanagement,
Yeah.
right? So when you say too much support, like too much support is really being available. And yeah, sometimes I love removing availability occasionally, right? And force people into it. One of the key things that I think works really well, um, many managers, they love answering questions. When people come to them, they feel important and they're like, yeah, I can answer that question. I'm really smart, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs, particularly in the tech space, they like that feeling. But one of the key things, if you want the, like, when you hire staff, they start up under you, and your goal is to try and bring them up to your level, right? Or
Yeah.
like at least in what it is they specialize in. But what many people do, because they keep answering the questions, what happens is they become much better because they know all the answers, but the staff is not growing as fast. And one of the key things that I try and do that really help that is, whenever people come to you with a question or a problem, always ask them, one, to have suggestions for what could be done, right? So like, you have a problem with a customer, what do you see being the solutions, or the potential solutions? And out of those potential solutions, which one do you feel is the right one, right? Because if your staff come to you with that up front, then what happens is, instead of just answering the question, they actually get to think about it. And it's not about, actually, it's not really about, for me at least, it's not about them making the right decision. It's
Mm.
about me understanding how do they think and how do they get to the decision they made. And if I feel it's like generally, I don't really tell people to do something different unless they're literally about to bring down the business, right? Because reality is, in most cases, as business managers, we love to think we know everything and we are the best, right? But
Yeah.
reality is, very frequently we don't. And often the other way works just as well, right? So very, very often I've been like, oh, this guy is doing something that's totally silly. I'll let him do it to figure out his mistake. But he comes back and he has much better result than I would have gotten, right?
Yeah.
So
And
a
it's
lot of
also
the time,
uh, it's also a, two, you kill two birds with one stone type thing, in the sense that you empower them as well, I guess, with like, you give them that little bit of responsibility to be creative, and then go, oh, like, wow, once they've done that and it worked and they could see like, wow, I've done this, that just, it builds that momentum I see. And I've tried to implement that in my business and I'm still getting there. I'm still growing.